Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to say welcome to the stream, and I apologize for running later than normal. Um, it's about 2 hours past my normal time that I stream. Um, I've quit. I'm trying to quit smoking, and apparently, my body has decided that sleeping is a good way to deal with withdrawal symptoms. With withdrawal symptoms. So yeah, my body said, "Nope, we're done." uh, but getting close to 48 hours that I've been not smoking and dealing with it okay, other than sleeping a lot. uh, so let's hop in. Operational information as of 10 p.m. November 14th, 2024, regarding the Russian invasion. Total military losses, or in total, 138 military clashes took place since the beginning of the day. Ukrainian defenders continue to resolutely repulse the enemy's attempts to advance deep into our territory, inflicting fire damage on it. So, nice jump down from the 160 to 180 the last few days. The Russian invaders carried out 45 airstrikes on the territory of Ukraine and dropped 87 guide bombs in those 45 strikes. In addition, more than 400 kamikazes were brought into attack. Again, a significant drop down. We were looking in the 600s the last couple days. And more than 3,000 artillery shots were fired at the positions of our troops in populated areas. Again, down from like 3,800 to almost 4,000 shots per day over the last couple days. So it's good to see a downward trend starting to happen, and hopefully it continues. Hello, Anna, Nikki Hill, good to see you. K-Bell, good to see you. Glad to have you folks here. I appreciate you coming. Let me scroll up so I'm looking at the camera more than just my desk. In the Kharkiv direction, the enemy stormed the positions of our units in the areas of Tuki and Voschansk 4 times in vain. At the same time, the enemy aircraft attacked the village of Slatin with 2 aerial bombs. So I got 2 places I have not heard of before to look up. Of course, Kharkiv direction, Voschansk is here. And, so at the far end of the Voschansk salient that the Russians are in control of. So that is where they attacked, and Slatin with 2 aerial bombs. These are harder to see sometimes because they can be anywhere behind the lines. Varinki Saltiv and Stary Saltiv. Stary is it's not really old, but it's like mature Saltiv. The literal translation is old. So this is like old Saltiv, and this is small Saltiv. I'm guessing the other Saltiv are in there, but I don't think that's the right name. Saltiv compared to Slatin, yeah, it's close, but not quite right. And there's differences in translations and romanization that's used. So it could be those, but my guess is it is not. Question is, can I find the right one? And I think I just did right here. So 2 glide bombs launched against this city yesterday. In the Kupiansk direction, the aggressor carried out offensive actions near Glubovka, Petropavlivka, Peshani, Lushivka, Zeleny Gay, Zagryzoyev, Kruglalivka, Pershatravnivi, and Lozova. Ukrainian defenders stopped all 10 enemy attacks. Kupiansk is over here. Ulashkovo, Koloniskva. I'm surprised there isn't any attacks in Stepova Novoselivka. Pashani is here. I'm assuming the attacks are coming from this direction. Holubivka, Petropavlivka, Kershivka is here. Lazova is here. I don't see the other towns they were talking about. They could be smaller towns that are just not listed on this map. In the Lemansky direction, Russian invaders attacked the positions of the defense forces 9 times near the settlements of Katernivka, Drushalubivka, Nasivka, Turny, and Torsky. Also in this direction, the enemy attacked with attack and bomber aircraft in the area of Serebryansk Forest. Serebryansk Forest is this forest here. So aviation was attacking Ukrainian units in this area. Let me get rid of that. Torsk, Turny, I forget how far up this goes, but Bilohorivka is over here, and this is like the cutoff. Sometimes Bilohorivka is considered the Lemansky direction. Sometimes it's Sarisk. It's who's doing the operation information of the day. In the Sariski direction, our defenders repelled 2 assaults by the occupying troops in the direction of... Oof. This one is so hard to do. Like, this part is easy, but this part is not. Virkrenio Kamansky. So 2 assaults in Bierno Kramansky. In the Kramatorsk direction, with the support of aviation, the enemy stormed our positions near Protechny. The defense forces stopped all of the attacks of the invaders. So Syrsk Virkno-Kramansky is here. In Kramatorsk direction, let's see, what was the spelling of that? Here. So essentially, I guess Russia's trying to go around to Pochny and attack in this area. Those are the 2 directions of Syrsk and Kramatorsk yesterday. Carrying out airstrikes in the direction of Torsk, the Russians stormed 10 times the positions of Ukrainian units near the settlements of Dolivka, Toretsk, and Serebryanka. Here, all attacks ended in failure for the occupiers. Our Chasiv Yar, Stopochny area, Toretsk is right to the south. Dolivka is here, Toretsk is here, Serebryanka is here, and Russia is still trying to take this area. I'm surprised that you haven't heard more about Druba. Of course, it's not that far away from Dolivka, but this is going to be an important settlement in the Battle of Toretsk. As you can see, there is a rail line that runs right through here and a train station right here. Russia is in control of it, but it's too close to the front lines to use it. If Russia can push far enough away that like drones and mortars cannot be used on that rail line, they will start using it as a supply drop. The train will come in, drop supplies, leave, and then distributed to the troops in the area, which makes their logistics easier because right now they're doing that from they're doing that from all the way back here, almost the other side of Horlivka. They could be doing it here. Where is it? There. They could be doing it here. It's another train stop right at the closer to the edge, but I think that is within artillery range of Ukrainian units, and it's questionable. But for sure, this depot is being used. It's questionable whether this one is, and then this one is not being used currently, but it could be used if they expand out. Let's move on to Pokrovsk. In the Pokrovsk direction, since the beginning of the day, the enemy attacked the areas of Promin, Lysivka, Suky Yar, Pushkini, Zavote, Pustinka, and the Pustinka settlements. Our defenders have stopped 18 enemy assaults. 5 more clashes are still ongoing. So 23 assaults for today. That's a big drop in the number of assaults. Excuse me, my throat was getting a little rough. Normally in this area, we're seeing 30 to 40 assaults today. To see that number drop to the low 20s is very nice. Today, according to preliminary tongue work, according to preliminary data, more than 300 occupiers were neutralized in this direction, 144 of them irreversibly. 1 motor, 11 vehicles, 3 motorcycles, and 1 radio electronic warfare station were destroyed. In addition, 1 tank was damaged. That's a huge thing right there. Taking out the electronic warfare station opens up the drone operators to operate more freely in the area. So yeah, taking that out is definitely going to help in the long run. Go to across the direction. Okay, here's Promin, Suka Yar, Lysivka, Pushnaka, And remember, keep telling you guys to watch the railroad lines. Okay, come on, catch up. This is how important railroad lines are to Russians. You see that attacks are almost straight down the railroad lines. And then they'll try to push out from these railroad lines, and then they'll push down the railroad line again. The same thing happened with the initial push out this way. They took the rail lines and then expanded out, took more rail line, expanded out, and that's where we're at right now. They've expanded out and are being stopped. Now that this isn't working anymore here, they're trying it along this rail line, and it seems to be working so far. And hopefully they can get that momentum to stop and keep them from pushing out from that railroad line. Again, just my opinion. No, I don't have any sources I could quote for that. But what's the saying? The proof is in the pudding. You can go watch the last 2 or 3 advances that the Russians have made, and the initial advance is almost always along the rail line. There's a reason for that. You see that there's thick cover, thick tree lines on both sides of the rail lines. So it's nice cover, easy transport for vehicles down the rail line, and they need it for supply depots. It's just the tactic that's formed for Russia because of their need for the railroad lines. It also makes the railroad lines easy to spot. Some of them are not covered on both sides with the trees, but this is why Pokrovsk is such an important city for Russia. You got one rail line coming in, another here, another that goes up this way, another that comes up this way. You have one line that heads out to the west, but splits into 2 going to the north and then towards the south. Pokrovsk is, even at this zoom out level, you can see the railroad line that heads all the way down to here, and then you kind of see it fade in and out. So just follow this rail line all the way back, see where it goes. Right there to Dnipro. So, and that's just one of them. And there's 5 different rail lines heading out of Pokrovsk. There's other smaller ones. You see this little spur that comes off this way, goes to one of the mines here. But there's a lot of rail in and out of Pokrovsk, and that's why Russia wants it so bad. That is hugely logistical crutch for Russia is these rail lines. I don't know how else to put that. In the Kharkiv direction, the enemy does not stop trying to break through our defenses near the settlements of Breska, Sonsivka, Ilonika, Novoselidivka, Zori, Delaney, and Konstantinivka. 18 battles have been completed. The same number are still ongoing. Ooh, that's what, 38 or no, 36. again, the last couple of days it's been in the 40s or 50s. I think one day was even like 60 attacks in this one direction. Preliminary data shows the enemy loss as irreversible and wounded of 137 people. 1 tank, 6 vehicles, 2 motorcycles, and yet another electronic warfare station was taken out. Oh, and also 1 enemy BMP was destroyed. The electronic warfare stations, those are huge advantage now for Ukraine. Lets their drone operators operate in areas that weren't available before. So, I mean, easy win. Well, I shouldn't say easy win, but very good news. So with the Kharkiv direction, Ilyinivka, I don't know if they're talking about this Ilyinivka here or this one here, but Katerinivka, Antonivka, one thing I do want to point out here is, like, they're talking about, where is it? Konstantinivka. Okay. There's 2 settlements with very similar names. And neither one is matches what is in the report. So Constantinople and Konstantinopolski. Try to drag the map and I'm drawing. But then there's a third one down here that's behind Russian enemy lines. This one here. So you have Constantinople. Oh, shoot. There we go. Now that I've zoomed in enough, Constantinople is here, Poloski is here, and Konstantinivka is here. And it's a different ending, but which one are they talking about? They're talking about this one that is spelled exactly the same, this one that's close, or that one? The only way to really know for sure is to go to the Ukrainian spelling, because the translations are not accurate. Anyways, sorry to dive down that rabbit hole. Delaney, Ilyinivka, see what other ones were there? Zora, Novoseladivka. Okay. So Sansivka, Novoseladivka, Zoria. So basically, still everywhere along this front line is under Russian attack, including down here, which we're about to go to next, in the Brnitz direction. The enemy tried 12 times to break through the defenses of our defenders in the areas of Marinka, Yantarny, Rivnopol, Novodorivka. At the same time, he dropped 15 guided aerial bombs. Ooh, that's a lot of aerial bombs in one area. The Marivka Sushi, or Suhiyala, Velika Novosika, Servechno, and the settlement of Urozeni was hit by assault aircraft. Oh, that's a lot happening. There's starts with Tudrov here. Maximivka is here. And again, just to point out, sorry to keep doing that. Do that again. Now, Sukni Yala or Yalu here, but on here, Suni Yala. So it's just errors in translation depending on who's doing the translation. They kind of have to infer which town they're talking about. But Trudov, Sugayala, Marinka, Rnopol, Novopil, Novodarinka. This whole area is having attacks daily, and you can see from the concentration of forces of the Russian forces here, they're really trying to push up here into Marinka, Blahodatne, up to Velika Novoselivka. This is a major city, and as you could tell by all the roads coming in and out, a major transit hub. I don't think any of these are rail stations, but just normal roads. But again, it's a hub for the area and allows logistics to happen in this area. Ukraine's holding strong and is able to hold this pocket because of it. In the Orhiv direction, okay, let me grab some. In Orhiv, the invading troops try-stormed the positions of the defense forces near Novodanlivka. In the Dnieper direction, the enemy does not stop trying to knock our units out of their position. The aggressor carried out 4 unsuccessful assaults on the positions of Ukrainian soldiers during the day. There are no significant changes in the rest of the direction. So, Orhiv, Novodanlivka. So, up here from Robotna. You'll remember Robotna from like early last year. They were talking about the intense battles here. That's as far as Russia's got since, the beginning of last year, spring of last year. When they're talking the Dnieper direction, they're talking this entire line here, mostly in this area and this area. They're not giving as much information about Kurtz on these reports anymore, mainly because the information is very sporadic. Not that there isn't information coming, it comes in too fast. It's really odd what's going on up there. I don't have very reliable sources on that just yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. And let's just move on with the celebration of soldiers for today. The 110th and 126th Separate Territorial Defense Brigades, who effectively destroy the enemy, causing him significant losses in manpower and equipment. Glory to the Ukrainian defenders, glory to Ukraine, of course, Heroam Slava. And the air raid map. Even though it's 2 hours later than I normally start, they're still looking at an hour-long air raid in Kyiv. It started at 5:30 in the morning, and now 6:30 in the morning in Kyiv. You see, before that was 4 hours 10 minutes, and that was 11:40 a.m. to 4:50 a.m. And then 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the morning, yesterday morning. Zhytomyr has been under air alert for 4 hours, 25 minutes. Klemensky for 3 hours, 21 minutes. Venezia, 4 hours, 17 minutes. And of course, these are all overnight just to make people uneasy to sleep in their own beds because there's drones flying around. Oh, that's the wrong. I had the wrong speech lined up for Zelensky. I had yesterday's speech lined up again.
Бажаю здоров'я, Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. Коротко про сьогодні. Продовжили працювати над пунктами нашого плану внутрішньої стійкості. Сьогодні два фундаментальні пункти: фронт та людський капітал. Все, що стосується нашого захисту, і все, що стосується наших людей, і військових, і цивільних, і дорослих, і дітей. Мета очевидна – це захист від російської агресії зараз і все, що ми повинні зробити для того, щоб не програти післявоєнний мир, щоб зберегти і зміцнити наш народ і державу, і народ. І це обов'язково. Продовжив нашу міжнародну роботу сьогодні, неформальну дипломатію, поспілкувався зі студентами університетів в Латинській Америці. Люди в усіх частинах світу мають однаково розуміти, що потрібно зараз, щоб повернути спокій міжнародним відносинам. І ще одне про одну із сьогоднішніх новин. Канцлер Шольц казав мені, що збирається подзвонити Путіну. Дзвінок Олафа, на мою думку, це скринька Пандори. Тепер можуть бути і інші розмови, інші дзвінки, просто багато слів. І це саме те, що Путін давно хоче. Йому вкрай важливо послабити його ізоляцію. Ізоляцію Росії. І вести перемовини, як звичайні перемовини, які не будуть нічим завершуватися. Так, як він десятиліттями робив. Це давало можливість Росії нічого не змінювати в своїй політиці, нічого не робити по суті. І якраз це і призвело до цієї війни. Розуміємо всі ці виклики зараз, знаємо, як діяти. І хочемо попередити, Мінська-3 не буде. Нам потрібен реальний мир. Слава Україні!
Героям слава. Rather pointed comments there, and I don't blame him one bit. Basically, Germany's Scholz went to Putin and talked to Putin, and it's a Pandora's box of getting nowhere. Zelensky mentioned Minsk 3. It's not going to be a Minsk 3. We need real peace. You have to remember, this has been driven in the ground with the I forgot the name of it now, and that's my brain's just giving me away that I'm old. Shoot. Anyway, there was an agreement. I can't remember what it's called. One of you guys can save me here. Where the U.S., UK, Russia, and Ukraine signed an agreement for Ukraine to give up its nukes in exchange for everybody recognizing the international borders. And this was back in 2008. In 2015, I believe it was, the United States, UK, and Russia again affirmed that they would abide by and recognize Ukraine's borders and thanked Ukraine for giving up the nukes. Meanwhile, Russia was sending little green men into Crimea and Luhansk and Donetsk. And here we are, 5 years after 7 years after they said, oh, yes, we still honor the and respect Ukraine's borders. 7 years later, they're invading. Holding referendums, holding up fake ballots and saying a vote to join Russia, a blank ballot, vote for Russia. Yes, the Budapest Memorandum, that's the one. Yeah, sign the Budapest Memorandum, sign the Minsk 1, sign Minsk 2, reaffirmed the memorandum in 2015. And here we are with Russia trying to take over parts of Ukraine after 5 separate times promising to respect the border of Ukraine. What is a Russian promise worth? It's about that much. So yeah, talks with Putin aren't going to get us anywhere. You have to remember, Putin was trained by the KGB to interrogate and influence people. Say what you want about Russia. Their methods of controlling. Well, we've all seen the propaganda and how effective it is. Now imagine having a one-on-one conversation with somebody who's been taught that system for 40, 50 years. You're not going to get anywhere talking to Putin. Venezia just went under air alert. And I've talked to several people that, I don't want to go towards the eastern part of Ukraine. I want to stay in the west. Well, here you are, pretty far to the west. Kiev's way over here. And Klemensky, been under air rate 3 hours and 28 minutes. Oh, but what about Lviv? Okay, they don't get them as often, but they still get them. I don't know. I don't think it's any safer being in Lviv than Kiev. Actually, I think I'd be more at risk in Lviv than Kiev. Because in Kiev, I know it's a danger. I know shit happens. In Lviv, me personally, I would get complacent and ignore the air alerts that do happen there. That's me personally, so I don't know. And of course, going into popular news. Oh, wait, before I do that, let me go back to that and pull up the losses for today. Total combat losses of the enemy, November 15th, the 996th day of the invasion. Personnel losses of 1,520. 11 tanks, 21 APVs, another 20 artillery systems, 2 anti-aircraft warfare systems, right at just under 1,000. Oh, so that should tick over to 1,000 tomorrow, hopefully. No aircraft, no helicopters, 34 UAVs, 1 cruise missile, no boats turned into submarines, and no submarines turned into reefs. 77 vehicles and 16 special equipment. Hi, KKGG. Good to see you. Yeah, Ukraine keeps racking up the very high losses for the Russians. I'm going back and pulling up the information from day 500. So on and I'm thinking I should do it for like day 250, day 500, day 750, and day 10,000 to show like a side by side of the changes that have happened over the course of the war in the amount of troops and equipment that Russia has lost. It's quite an interesting chart if you look at it that way. So yeah, I'm getting that information together and splicing a couple different graphics together because they've changed over the time. But look forward to that. And I was talking to somebody earlier, and I'm not a very religious person, but they were trying to convince me I need to go to church more. And I told them, if my church looked like this place, I'd go to church a lot more. So, it's a very beautiful church. I don't know, if your church looked like that, would you go more? Anyways, yeah, sorry, didn't mean to bring that up on you guys, but of course, the top news is Schultz talking to Putin. And everybody's jumping on that Pandora's box statement. Counterattacking Ukrainian troops destroyed Russian Marines. Videos allege catastrophic Russian meat grinder assault in Kursk. Seeing as this is out from Forbes, I'm assuming it's been scrubbed of non-appropriate stuff. Okay, it's just the same tank getting blown up over and over again. And you can see it flips forward. Oh, I can't even pause it to show you. But at the end of the clip, that's... If he had a shot from the ground, that would like be a Hollywood trick shot. But of course, that's all they show. And I can understand why a lot of these videos from the Ukrainian units get very graphic. Russia loses 88 vehicles in Kursk Oblast due to an intelligence failures and Ukrainian minefields. And of course, Ukraine's Trump tightrope. There's a lot of conjecture. All I can say is I hope Biden pushes out the aid that's been already approved, because there's like 6 to 9 billion, depending on who you talk to, of aid ready to go to Ukraine that has not gone yet. So get off your asses, Washington, and ship the shit. This this made me smile a little. In an echo of the Soviet era, Russians are informing on each other over Ukraine. Veteran doctor accused by the mother of patient over alleged Ukraine comment. Pediatrician sentenced to 5.5 years in a penal colony for it. Yeah, a lawyer says cases based on snitching are on the rise. So basically, if you're in Moscow, don't fucking talk to anybody because they're going to report on you and send you to jail for the bounty. So the question is, where can I complain about this bitch now so that she'll be kicked out of the freaking country or sent to the devil in jail? This is the wife of the... That's the wife of the doctor that got sent to jail saying that. So the doctor denied making the comment about Ukraine. Despite any adult witnesses, he was sentenced to 5.5 years in jail because a 7.5-year-old kid said he supported Ukraine. Yeah, it's a funny story. If you want to read more, it's out there. But basically, this is the society of fear that the Soviet Union was, and it's coming back. This is what Russia wanted all the time, all around long, is the Soviet Union to come back. You still see a little bit of the leftovers of this in Ukraine. Because of the Soviet era and the snitching on each other and the general mistrust. If you didn't know somebody your whole life, you don't make friends. So it's very hard for Ukrainian people to befriend strangers because of stuff like this from the Soviet times. The younger generation in Ukraine is a lot easier to make friends with than the older generation that grew up in the 80s, because they were taught this way. But it's still going on in Russia. You piss off your neighbor, you hang your clothes on their clothesline, they'll go and report you. You go to jail. Your family reports them, they go to jail, and everybody ends up working at a prison camp. It's just, I would never want to live like that, and I feel sorry for anybody who does. But this is the society that Putin wanted to bring back, and here they are. You voted for them, you got them. Unfortunately, that's going to be said of us in a year or two. You voted for them, you got them. And then it jumps back to 2 days ago. Ukrainian Leopard tank met a Russian armored column head on. Again, it's just a clip of the first tank getting taken out over and over again, but so Ukrainian brigade armed with French tanks and artillery about to enter the war. New York Times. Ukraine is running out of optimists. Okay. And it's old stories so from the rest of the way down here, it looks like. That's mass news, popular media, whatever you want to call it. Mostly a joke, but they have a few good stories out from time to time. Oh, looks like all the air raids have gone off except for in Venetia. Let's see if there's anything. Anything on the Telegram I can show you? Nope, that's.
Пахта смажено. Є? Пусто. Стріляємо! Є.
That's MLRS in action from the 42nd Mobile or the Mechanized Infantry Brigade. The stylized writing is hard to do sometimes. For me, anyways, it can be the normal block letters, like in these I could read, but when it's like the cursive Ukrainian writing, I have a hard time with it. A lot of information out from ZCU official Telegram. I wish I could show you this video, but it's not appropriate. So if you have Telegram, it's definitely worth checking out the ZCU official. Definitely not going to click on that video. There's so many good sources of information out there. Yeah, those MLRSs are scary, dangerous. So that's just, when I'm going through, these reports, I love seeing these things taken out. I love seeing the pluses in this area because those things are so dangerous, and it'd be different if they were more accurate, and if they launched and hit the target they were supposed to be hitting. Okay, I'd be more okay with those types of weapons. But it is an area of effect weapon. You see some troops running into a house in a village, you fire an MLRS at it, which Russia does all the time, and it's a whole section of that village that gets hit. You see in that video, Ukraine was firing at a wooded forest. Oh, where was it? Let me go back to the 40 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, it's a forested area. No village around, just forest. So they're not going to have secondary or, you know, it's going to hit troops and troops only or trees. Only collateral damage is going to be trees. It's not going to be civilians hiding in their basement that have a rocket come through their roof. Yeah, the MLRSs are scary. I'd be more scared of an MLRS than pretty much anything else. Today, another batch of equipment was sent to our defenders at the front in the Donetsk and Kharkiv directions. As charitable aid, it was not purchased with budget funds. In particular, soldiers of the 63rd, 42nd, and 241st Brigades went to 100 FPV drones, 5 Mavics, 3 thermals, 8 electronic communication systems, 10 generators, 10 EcoFlows, and 10 heaters. Also, an armored minibus. The Capitol continues to do everything to support and help our defenders, both for the funds of the community and for non-budgetary funds. Glory to Ukraine, glory to its heroes. And here's the video, short video.
До нас звернулись наші захисники, 241 бригада, 63-я, 42 бригада. Хлопці, які вкрай важлива потреба на сьогоднішній день. Відправляємо мавіки, FPV-дрони, оберігачі, реби, відправляє броньований автомобіль. Все те, що зараз вкрай потрібно нашим хлопцям. Тримаємось, допомагаємо всіми силами і робимо все для того, щоб відбивати ворога. Слава Україні і слава нашим героям. Слава захисникам.
Always good to see that kind of help coming through. But note that this is going to 3 separate brigades working together to get that kind of equipment. You know, there's so many units in a brigade. It's not just one unit. It's like in the 43rd Brigade, there's like 10 or 12 different units. I can't remember them all. So it's a drop in the bucket of what's needed, unfortunately. So this is why your donations to these fundraisers and these charitable organizations like NAPO Sniffing Brigade. This is why it's so important. There's such a need that 3 brigades are working together to raise what they need, and I can tell just from what I've seen for other units, this is barely enough for 1 brigade, and they're splitting it between 3. It is what it is. We're not all millionaires. God, I wish I could hit the Powerball and just send millions over, but let's see who else is on here. 46 hasn't put out anything new yet lately. K2 54th Brigade has not. 3rd Assault hasn't put out anything. Madiar has, but I get in trouble when I show Madiar's videos because he has a YouTube channel and puts these on YouTube as well. And the ones here are not blurred out where they need to be blurred out. So, yeah, Telegram is becoming a great source for direct video from individual units. You see who I'm following here: the 46th, the 54th, the 42nd, 3rd Assault, Madiar, and of course ZCU official. Some personal ones in there too. Let me catch up with chat really quick before I end it and go back to error alerts. And all error alerts are clear at the moment. Oh wow, that's amazing, KKGG. I'd be interested to know like how long it took that family to adjust to life in the US. Oh, the VW transporters. Yeah, it's not just VW transporters, it's Opals, it's all kinds. It's literally the man with the van that's willing to do all the driving. Yeah, load the stuff up. It's amazing how the communities in Ukraine have come together to do those kinds of fundraisers, to put those kind of logistics together. It's literally going from house to house in some regions and gathering stuff up to take it to the units. You saw 3 of them together.
До нас звернулись наші захисники, 241 бригада, 63, 42 бригада.
You must know them better than I do because I couldn't tell you what brand that was looking at the side of it. Oh, these were the 16 Ukrainians that were encircled, and the SOF went in to get them.
Хочу подякувати 73-му центру за евакуацію з окруження. Дуже дякую вам, що допомогли нам виїхати.
Yeah, with it being SOF, I can see why they're blurring it.
Бригада
But
3
why-
військовослужбовця. Загальна кількість військовослужбовців 3, 10 і 3 чоловіка. Всім дякую. Слава Україні.
So those are guys that they got pulled out of encirclement today. That happened up in the Kursk region. So yeah, there's so many different little stories. You could sit here and stream for 10 hours and not cover everything that's going on. I don't have that time. It's that much time on my hands. I'd have to go back to smoking to be able to do that. So Unless there's any questions from chat or any information you guys would like me to cover, I'm going to end it here. Say thank you for stopping. I appreciate you coming to the stream. Hit the like button if you would. It'd help me grow. Get the information out to more people. Thank you for supporting Ukraine. Have a good night and stay safe, everybody. Razum de переможемо.